Okay, you got me. I'm guilty. You happy now? I turned myself in. Now can we all just draw a line in the sand and make peace? Find a middle ground, yeah? All right, thank you. What more do you want? Well, people, I didn't think I'd be making this video today, but here we are. Chelsea charged for breaching FA agent regulation rules 74 times. We'll find out in a moment just how much wrongdoing we've really done. Because for me, they used to say in school, snitches get stitches, but we're mature about this. We've actually, put ourselves forward for the crimes we've committed. So listen, it's one of those situations where, are you not embarrassed? Yes, of course I'm slightly embarrassed because I don't want to keep finding myself in these situations. I don't want to be in PSR trouble. I don't want to be in UEFA restriction trouble. I don't want to be in FA trouble. And in fact, there seems to be two different investigations going on. Of course, we have until the 19th of September to respond, but then the Premier League are also going to do their own separate investigation. And it feels like FA kind of retaliation or response will be lighter than maybe the Premier League, and the Premier League will, who knows, worst case scenario, maybe deduct points, and how many points that will be, I don't know. But at the moment, Chelsea, reported by Matt Law, are just expecting, financial repercussions like £8 million, £8 million, €8 million, whatever it will be, similar to UEFA, restriction that we got, as opposed to sporting restrictions and on the pitch. But let's see. First of all, let me read out the statement by Chelsea because it is quite in depth, and it is, I'm not gonna lie, we're licking us. We're licking the rim of FA. It's insane. Football Association. Wow, you're getting some work done with us tonight. The club's ownership group completed its purchase of the club on 30th of May 2022, right? So Chelsea Football Club is pleased to confirm that its engagement with the FA concerning matters that were self-reported by the club is now reaching a conclusion, okay? During a thorough due diligence process prior to completion of the purchase, the ownership group became aware of potentially incomplete financial reporting concerning historical transactions and other potential breaches of FA rules. Immediately upon the completion of the purchase, the club self-reported these matters to all relevant regulators, including the FA, right? So clearly this has happened before Clear Lake Capital, and this is why I want to give some credit. I don't give this ownership loads and loads and loads of credit, but I will give it to them now. They have realized what the prior ownership have done. I think there was 100 million almost discount on the sale of Chelsea Football Club because they found this kind of information in the back end of the computer. And they said, right, we're going to just get that buffer of 100 million in case we have a court case or some sort of fee to pay for this. And it now has obviously shown today that this is what we're going to have to face. But fair play to them for handing themselves in, It's not them that committed this crime. They didn't do these deals with Eto'o, with Hazard, with Willian in terms of agents or paying people off. They are starting afresh from that point onwards when they bought the club in 2022. So we have to segregate and kind of, separate the two ownerships. I think that's only fair in regards to this. The club has demonstrated unprecedented transparency during this process, including by giving comprehensive access to the club's files and historical data. We will continue working collaboratively with the FA to conclude this matter as swiftly as possible. We wish to place on record our gratitude. This is a lot of arse licking. This is what I'm talking about. The FA for their engagement with the club on this complex case, the focus of which has been on matters that took place over a decade ago. See, they're just warming you up. They're really, it's foul. Now, I'm going to make a point here that not a lot of people want to hear. This is big billionaire BS right here, right? When you get this amount of money in the game at the top end, and we see kind of corruption and all sorts in all levels, whether it be FIFA, whether it be UEFA, La Liga, football clubs, agents, there is so much going on. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying there's so much going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to, we're not aware of. This shouldn't come as a massive shock. Now, it's not my dad's bigger than your dad, my club's bigger than your club. Everybody, of course, is a fan at the end of the day. We have no say on the matter of what's going on at our football clubs. We're just supporting what goes on the pitch and hoping that everything off the pitch is taken care of. If I was to go back in time into the 1980s or the 50s or whatever, I'm sure there are loads of big, traditional, established clubs that have done something wrong at some point, and they've probably, hopefully, been punished for it. And if everybody was to come to the table and actually lay their documents out and files, put their files on the table, put your files on the table, people. Let's see what you have to uncover. Let's see what's really going on behind the scenes for the last 20 years. I'm sure something's coming up. Now, I'm open to any punishment we get. Any punishment we get, I'm not going to cry about it, right? Now, hopefully, from my perspective as a fan, I don't want them to make an example out of us and dock us 50 points, right? I know a lot of you would absolutely love that. Chelsea fans obviously wouldn't. Maybe what happened with Man City with the 1-1-5 situation, it could go either way. It might mean that they're more lenient with us because they didn't do a madness or they didn't go crazy with that situation, or they might look to make an example out of us and go even harsher. I don't know. All I know is that I can, in good faith, promise that this won't happen again, right? We've literally snitched on ourselves. This never happens. They've said it here. Unprecedented transparency. When have you ever seen a football club snitch on themselves? We've seen Everton, we've seen Man City, we've seen Nottingham Forest, we've seen club after club. Liverpool trying to peer over the Man City scouting fence. You know, a little 60k fee for Callum Chambers, wrong agent, you know, not a legally licensed FIFA agent from Arsenal, right? Way back in the day, 2014. Nowhere near to the extent of this. But no one has ever snitched on themselves. No one has ever said, hey, my bad. Not even my bad. My ex is bad. My ex made a mistake, but I'm actually going to clean up the mess. I'm going to present it to you. I'm going to give you video evidence. I'm going to give you files, documents, all sorts. People are talking about docking us points. How about you actually give us more points? How about you actually give us points? Give us credit. Because this is the thing, and I'm not even joking when I say this. If you dock us a lot of points, or obviously any financial penalty we can pay, right? In fact, we got the Premier League in our pocket if we get a fine. What else have I got in my pocket? Run that ad.
This video is brought to you by XTRA. After years of rolling around with this big, dusty, crusty, nasty slab of a thing, I've upgraded to this. A sleek, slim slider wallet card holder, up to 14 cards, and also pocket in your favorite winger. I just have to push a button and they all pop out. It comes in all sorts of colors, but I've gone with this beautiful brown leather. If I'm in a rush while packing and I can't find my wallet, XTRA's Finder card is there to save the day. All you gotta do is use the Find My app on the iPhone. Android users, they've got you covered too. And next thing you know, with a click of a button, let it all work out. If you can see clearly but can't trust others, then the tag is an excellent way of scaring your opponents when they try and run away with your luggage. XTRA also have a vacuum kit for Champions League Chronicle away days. I've got a pack light for those vlogs. XTRA are offering 48% off until September the 16th, and with a further 10% discount using the code MAH at the checkout. All you gotta do is click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, and it's as easy as can be. Big up XTRA.
Yes, that was shameless. I know. Apologies, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Chelsea ain't going to get a sponsor on the front of their shirt. I'm sure as hell going to get sponsors on these videos. But as I was saying, is honesty and transparency not important in this world? Is that not what we're striving for as a people, as a community? Are we not trying to identify and reflect and look for self-improvement, look at our wrongdoings and get better from that moment onwards? That's what we're trying to do here. So do you want to penalize us for trying to be better, trying to improve? And then what? Everybody else who has shady business potentially behind the scenes that they would like to own up to, that they would like to demonstrate to the courts, they go into hiding. They go into the dark corners of the football world because now they realize that if you do come forward with your own, tales of woe, poor misdealings, you could get sanctioned. You could get sent to the championship. Is that what you want? Is that the precedent you really want to set, people? Come on now. Let us off with this one, man. We've had transfer bans. We've had UEFA restrictions. We've been under sanctions. We've changed ownerships. We've had all sorts. Come on, man, have a heart. You don't really hate us that much, do you really? Is it that deep? When it's all said and done, is it really that deep? This happens more often than you can believe. I assure you. But anyway, listen, it is what it is. Like I said, for every good thing that Hazard done, Willian did a bad thing. So when we talk about, people say, oh, Manchester United didn't get Hazard. Okay, but we got Willian. We got Eto'o. And I'm not trying to take the mick here. They obviously served the club and Willian's a legend and whatnot. But if you've watched him week in, week out, yes, he was frustrating. Yes, he had moments where he literally nearly made me pull my hair out of my scalp. And he probably did cost us quite a few games. If it wasn't Willian over there, you know who it could have been? Mohamed Salah. It could have been Salah over there, a Premier League great, a Premier League legend. Remember when we had him, Kevin De Bruyne? But because Willian came to the club, we didn't get Salah. You know, we didn't have the space for Salah to be integrated, to be used. So it swings in roundabouts when you think about it, people, you know. Yes, we got Hazard and we won a lot of things with Hazard, but we also lost a lot of things with Willian. So I guess what I'm trying to say is let's just call a spade, shake hands and walk off into the distance and move on from this. I think that's fair. Now, obviously going forward, we don't want to ever see this happen again. If I'm being completely serious right now, do I want to be thinking in the back of my mind that a transfer is not legit because we've lost out, you know, on a player because we've paid a little bit less on the agent fee and they've slipped him an extra yacht or an extra, you know, Rolex? No, I don't want to think that. I don't want to think every transfer window could literally be just a complete farce, a complete, you know, fugazi. But football's come a long way. You know, from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20, 30, 50 years ago. There's way more regulations now. There's way more rules. There's way more FFP, PSR, this, that, and the third. So let's all grow together. Let's all improve together. And let's all expose ourselves to the FA and the Premier League and clean up our own mess and our rubbish and move on with our lives. That's basically what I'm saying. We've set the precedent now. We've set the way, the path. Now you come into the darkness. Now you come into the light, whatever you want to call it. Join us, because I know you've got some stuff up your sleeve, people. When big clubs, boy, big things happen. You know it does. So join us. Join us on the path to the truth. I'll speak to you guys very soon. And this is why I didn't say anything about Manchester City's 115. Two reasons. One, it's more shameless than I could ever imagine to bring up anyone else's charges, anyone else's sanctions, anyone else's potential wrongdoings, regulation issues, because I know my club will be there. Gel Kukuta, you know, Cobham transfer ban, UEFA regulation restrictions, whatever you want to call it, we will be there. Cutting grass, whatever it was, the grass wasn't the right length for Manchester City, the sponsorship deals with the Etihad, all sorts of charges, 115. Each individual charge, God knows what. We've got 72. I don't know what each one of these are. 72 charges, you know. Jilaboji, you know, did he wear the wrong studs against Hartlepool in the third round of the FA Cup? I don't know. There's a whole heap of extra charges here that might be relevant, might be worse than we would ever imagine, could be really irrelevant. You might not even care at home. What I do know is if we get a transfer ban, I don't know how to even think or feel about that because we have such a random influx and outflux of players all the time. It might actually be a welcome break for our financial books, for our club in regards to players, you know, because we've got so many and we've got so many young players that are coming through at Strasbourg that are going to be developing. Maybe this helps them get that extra chance, as it did with Cobham when we got the last transfer ban. But at the same time, if they don't develop to the level that is required, that we need them to, then obviously we'll always need to dip into the market to kind of rectify that. So there's pros and cons everywhere. All I know is Steve is currently asking me for the Champions League in Porto back. And to that, I have to say, you're still not innocent yourself. So we're both guilty. You know what I'm saying? We're both in trouble. We're both the anti-establishment, I guess you could say. Older oil brother to younger oil brother. We're all just following each other's footsteps. Newcastle, you're next. Welcome to the party. Look, we'll get our decision. We'll be there, and whatever we get, whether it's a fine, whether it's a couple points, no excuses. We crack on with the season. As long as it's not over 5-6 points, then I ain't really gonna moan or cry about it. At the end of the day, we snitched on ourselves. We know we're guilty, so we gotta hold that. We gotta take that and keep it stepping. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Was it worth it? I think it. I don't wanna. Should I say it was worth it? I'll be real. Hey, we won Premier Leagues, man. We won Champions Leagues. What do you want me to say? Oh, I don't want the success. Yes, I do. And so would you. Don't lie. If your club cheated a little bit and you could get all that success, you'd take it too. You wouldn't trade it. And no, it can't be struck off the record or put an asterisk on it. I'm sorry, I lived it, I loved it, and I'll always remember it. There's nothing you can do about it. So, yeah. Suggest you just put up and shut up. Love.